Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Dr. Donna. Welcome to week 26 of 11. Last week, I read Your Brain is Amazing. Here's what I have for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been researching the brain. I think I've mentioned, or if I haven't, I'm going to go back and get a certificate in neuroscience because it is important and value added to me in my continued research for neuromobility. And so what I also did before I could, because I got to find the time to get this done, before I can find the time to get this done, I still want to study books. And so I was able to gather 2 books from the library, and Your Brain is Amazing is one of them. And it's actually a children's book, and it was written for 4th through 7th graders and originally published in 2019 in Spanish. And then it was published in 2023 in English. And I think it's an amazing book for all of us to read, especially if you're just wanting to find out about the brain. It was great. The illustrations were great. The formatting was great. It was really, especially, I just think of it as like neuroscience 101 for dummies, if we do that. Not that you're dumb, but remember the For Dummies books. And so it was really good to just talk about the brain. It was. Great book. I'm recommending it if you can get it from your public library, if you can purchase it online. If you have children that are interested in the brain or young adults, go ahead and tell them Your Brain is Amazing, How the Human Mind Works. It is an amazing book. So here are some of the things that I have as a note, but there were so many things in the book. I couldn't pick everything, but I definitely want to highlight some of these things. The brain has been called the thought generator. And I like that because when I'm doing my lives and I tell people we're going to use the executive function of the brain, which is known as the CEO of the brain. I was like, wow, the thought generator was so happy. My little clicker word was like, ooh, this is good. Oh, I like that. The thought generator. Next, the brain is the boss of your body. It is the CEO. It's telling every part of the body what to do. It's all of that. If you have the cognition and you use your brain like it was designed to be used, oh man, you're going to be an amazing person. It is the boss, okay? It is large and in charge. Well, it's not large, it's 3 pounds, but it's in charge. And then this was an interesting one as well. Babies are born with the same amount of neurons as adults. The difference is that only a small number of those neurons are connected. So they have less neuroplasticity. So they have the same amount, but the neural pathways that are being created are small because they need to learn and create the connections, the synapse, the connections for those neurons. Next is the connections that are used repeatedly in the early years become permanent. And while those that aren't used will deteriorate, or they will be trimmed or pruned. So the ones that they keep using and keep using and keep using, that's where that neuroplasticity and those neural pathways are being created. And the ones that they don't use, they say use it or lose it. So they're either going to be trimmed and not used often, or they're going to be pruned and they won't have access to them anymore. So if you think about when you were growing up, you said, man, I used to know how to do, and now I can't. Use it or lose it. You didn't use it, and so that neural pathway was trimmed or pruned. And then you have to rewire it and get some connectivity going so you can start using it again. Now, the thing about the book is that it identified the 4 lobes of the brain and it discussed their functions. And one of the best parts and the reason why I like this book is because there was activities for you to do to further demonstrate the use of that lobe. And this activity is going to create those new neurons through neurogenesis. Well, you're going to have neurogenesis, and then you're going to get some neuroplasticity going on, and it's going to be further cemented or create the use of that neural pathway by having that activity. And who's to say that you couldn't do that activity a number of times just to solidify that neural pathway? And then the book gives an overview of the executive function of the brain, my most favorite part of the brain. And then it shows the students how to use the executive functions of the brain. In the end of the book, it tells you how to, most importantly, oh my goodness, take care of your brain. And can you imagine having that information in the 4th through the 7th grade? And now what you'll be able to do because you understand that the brain is the most important organ in your body, and you can care for it from the beginning. And if you think about people in the 7th grade, they get that new brain at 13, and it doesn't become permanent, that frontal lobe, until 25. Imagine what they can do because they will understand, I have a new brain. I have the ability to make new neural pathways. I have this neuroplasticity ability. Man, this is going to be awesome. So by the time that frontal lobe finally becomes a true, complete frontal lobe, it's going to be an amazing adult existence. So yes, I am saying get this book. I love the book. It was so amazing. I wish the book was there when I was younger. And even talking to my daughter, she was like, man, I would have loved to have read the book. And I was like, you were long gone out of elementary school when this book was published. But it is a great book. I highly recommend it, especially if you have STEM students and they're just like, wow, I just want to know how my brain works. Science teachers, everybody. Great book, great book. And did I say great book? Great book. Last week's meditation, I've been trying to figure out what to do with my Instagram and my TikTok lives. And I made it subscription based. And now I'm filling that up so that people can see my day-to-day life. And as I mentioned before in previous videos, I don't really show people behind the scenes because I'm like, I don't know y'all like that. But that's the military in me. That's the hood in me. Like, why y'all got to know everything about me? But you need to see it. You need to understand what everyday leadership looks like. It's not this fantabulous life. I said it on the live the other day. It's not sexy, but it is interesting. I am putting those videos together so that on June 1st, when it launches, depending on when you watch this video, it's probably already going to be there. But June 1st is being launched, and it is $10 a month on both platforms. You will get behind the scenes, my day-to-day life information, my thoughts, and everything else. And it will be interesting. So subscribe. Go to YouTube or TikTok after June 1st, and it will be there readily available for you to see what real leaders do every day. I'm going to make it do what it do, baby. You can check it out. This week's book, The Fred Factor. Well, that's my time, ladies and gentlemen. But before I get out of here, just remember the journey of 11, a time for meditation to a path of manifestation. Adios.